Welcome back to the channel. It has been just a few weeks since I was on YouTube. Literally no reason besides I was just like traveling and then I got sick and then I realized, oh my God, the month, where did it go? I've obviously been uploading on TikTok, Instagram. Sorry for the sniffles. Podcast. I did feel like we haven't chatted in a minute about personal stuff. I've definitely been sharing a lot on other platforms like Instagram and the podcast. I feel like every platform is for like a different thing. So we are going to do a personal Ask Me Anything. Lots of questions that I haven't really answered in a while and want to answer. And also I uploaded a podcast about my drinking journey with alcohol. If you missed that, I would really appreciate it if you went and listened to that because I really put a lot of energy and intention, love, and time into that episode. And it really just kind of explains everything. I didn't really get a lot of questions about it on Instagram just because everyone listened to the podcast already, but like just in case you didn't, I just wanted to like put that out there before like you start commenting or something like that. So let's just jump right into it. First and foremost, so many questions. Are you and your boyfriend still together? I am single and I'm actually doing very well. It's not like kind of 2 years ago situation or anything. I obviously was a little bit heartbroken, but like it's not my first rodeo with that. I don't like regret anything. It was just honestly circumstance. It was all like respectful and just kind and gentle, but our careers just don't line up with each other. It was just too hard. Obviously relationships require work, but like our careers and like lifestyles just didn't mesh at all. As much as like we wanted to make it work, timing wasn't there and just where we're both at in our lives. All good. Everything's peachy keen over here. The only reason I kind of like wait a little bit to tell you guys is because I'm like going through it and I was like sad, kind of like put pieces back together. I never like to talk about something when it has to do with another person when I'm really upset. Now I'm fine and I'm single. You live and you learn. Another question kind of like in regards to the podcast is like what happened between you and your last boyfriend. And I've already talked to you guys about it. I think obviously the solo podcast episode about drinking kind of raised like even more questions and stuff. But I think everyone has to remember that like it takes two to tango. So I would never pit two people against each other. I also don't like hold things against people for something that they did when they were younger. I think we all grow and change a lot. And so sometimes there's just like people that like aren't good for each other. And it doesn't mean that like one is a bad person. I mean, obviously everyone's situation is different. As much as I want to like tell my side of the story, I take a lot of like accountability and responsibility for like the part I play in every single relationship that I have because I'm not a perfect person at all. I really hold myself accountable in my like own life and I would never just go and like blame all my problems on someone else. And I think that like sometimes it's hard because there's another person that's a part of the story, but it doesn't mean that it's like all their fault and they're like a horrible person at all. I think once you like let go of a lot of resentment and you're able to kind of just like forgive yourself and forgive the other person, it doesn't mean you have to like get back together with that person or be the best of friends, but it just can allow you to like live a life with no kind of harboring anger and resentment. Sometimes I get frustrated, but when I look back and like think about things, but it's like I allowed those things to happen. And I think that in my last relationship, I was extremely insecure as a human being. I had a lot of work to do on myself. I was able to do that when I was single. And then obviously I got back into a relationship that was like really, really special, but it just didn't work out because of like where we're at in life. Someone said, what's the most surprising message you've received after your solo podcast episode? I think all of it was honestly surprising because I didn't expect everyone to be so supportive. I just honestly, like the reason it took me so long to do it was because I was so afraid of all of the judgment. And I've had like a lot of anxiety surrounding social media in general. I think everyone's kind of like in this weird transition period, whether you're like a social media person or just in your normal everyday life, like personal life. It's just like, I think it's because we were like in this like pandemic for 2 years and we all kind of like built these lifestyles. Now we have to like go back to normal and it's all very transitional and anxiety inducing. And a lot of my anxiety revolves around social media lately. The way that I'm kind of like trying to break that the past few months is just like being literally 100% myself, 100% authentic, completely putting myself out there so that it's just like, listen, if this works, it works. If it doesn't, then like it doesn't. The most surprising thing thing was how supportive everyone was, because I knew there was gonna be like that kind of unconditional love and support that I get from so many of you guys. But the messages that I received of like how you could hear how just like intentional and calm and peaceful that I was, and that so many people from the AA community were just like so grateful the way that I spoke about it. So many people that have been in like situations like the situation I was in were so grateful that I spoke about it. So I guess I'm just like really glad that the way I conveyed it was really received the way I wanted it to. People can interpret things all different ways, and I'm just like really glad that everyone heard me and saw me like from like my heart, I guess. I know it's kind of lame. Someone said, what is a project that you're most excited for coming up? I feel like this is such like an old type of question in a sense of like, I haven't like had like a secret project or anything, because like I said, like we've all been in this weird transitional period. So I feel like I've like literally just been trying to put my life together, and just like thing after thing after thing happened. So I feel like I'm finally in a good place with like things that I want to do, and I'm really focusing on the stuff that I just said, connected and authentic with you guys, just kind of really doing some passion projects with mood. I did like a little teaser on my Instagram. I told you guys in the last vlog, I was like, do you want me to be like more open instead of like keeping all these secrets? Because obviously don't count your chickens before they hatch. Maybe not just like telling you the day of something launching, so that you guys can kind of see what it's really like behind the scenes. So I did self-invest in a mood product that I teased on Instagram. I'll tell you in the next video, I promise, just because it's too much to get into right now. And then obviously I have my merch, and then I'm working on a line of something I will share with you guys a little bit more also in a vlog. I'm just like still kind of like trying to put the pieces back together of my life and figure out like what makes me happy, and just like make sure I'm connecting with you guys on the way. Okay, so a lot of questions about where I live. Some people said, do you still live in California? Live in Chicago? So I'm in Chicago right now. Obviously I have an apartment in Chicago. I still own my house in California. I think what you're gonna see over the next like month and a half, 2 months, is a lot, honestly, of anxiety. I am going to have to go back to California. My lease is ending in Chicago, and then their lease is ending in my house. I didn't expect it to happen so fast. I don't know if I'm just scared because change is scary, or if I'm scared because like I don't like want to go back. But it's weird because a couple months ago I was like dead set on going back to California. I think it was like winter time. I had just gone through a breakup. I don't know, it's so weird. But then once it started getting more real, I just thought like I'm so used to having like my home friends and my family close by, but it's like I have such a great group of friends in Los Angeles too. I built my entire life in LA. This is the only time I've ever lived in Chicago as an adult. Everything else was like as a kid. So I just like honestly don't know. It's so bittersweet in a sense. I'm really having so much fun right now, and I've never had fun before. I've been working since I was 16 and I'm 27. And so the past year has been like the first time I've just been able to live in like a normal city where you like go out and you have a blast. Like Chicago is literally so fun. I cannot express that enough. It is literally the best city ever. It's just so much easier to like have fun and go out. It's just not like that in LA as much. Like it's like a different vibe, I guess. I don't know, like part of me is really excited to be like, okay, I had my year of fun, time to get back to normal life. I don't know. I don't know. I literally am just like so scared. And I've been doing such a like great job of balancing it, honestly. I've never had this like balance of like social and work. I've just always had work. What I've been trying to tell you guys for the past couple years is like, it is okay to not know. I don't know anything about my life right now, and that is okay. It is okay to course correct. It is okay to change. It's okay to change your mind. It's okay to make a mistake. There's no right or wrong. There's nothing you should be doing. It's all about like what you want to be doing, where you want to be, who you want to be doing it with, why you're doing it. Right now, like a lot of people are confused about where I live, and it's just like, you're confused, bro. I'm confused. I'm gonna take you guys along the ride. I thought this was an interesting question. Someone said you always talk about anxiety, but specifically specifically, like what are some things that make you anxious? I don't want to like make you anxious. My anxiety is really like anticipatory. So like fear of the future, like everything front facing. So I'm always like anticipating something to go wrong. Yeah, like a lot of my anxiety comes from like not being good enough, thinking everyone hates me, not being successful anymore, like having everything fall apart, like losing everything, losing everyone. So like a lot of abandonment, mostly things that could happen. You know, I always say like if a thought starts with what if, I just like immediately cut it off because it's like not productive, or I just challenge it. So if I'm like, what if I lose everything? I say, okay, but what if I don't? That's kind of like how I try to stay positive with it. And I also have like so many coping mechanisms and tools. I put a lot of pressure on myself as well. So I just make everything a lot bigger than it is. A lot of times think very black and white. So I have to really focus on living in the gray area instead of either I'm gonna die or I'm gonna live. It's like there's an in between. It's interesting. It's like a fun place to live in my head, I would say. Someone said, is your life on track to what you imagined it to be? First of all, like when I was in high school, I could have never imagined I was doing this. Like also when I started YouTube, like this wasn't a full-time career. It was like literally something I did for fun. As much as I like freak out about the future, I don't really have a clear vision of like what it looks like when I'm like 40 or what it looks like when I'm like 35. I think I've always just kind of like looked at my 20s, and your 20s are just like so hard. I think it's just like this time where nothing literally makes sense, and I don't think it's supposed to. In the past year, gotten to the place where I don't know what my life is going to look like, but I know that God has a plan for my life. He has me on the path that I'm supposed to be on. So every time something like bad happens in my life, I know I have to like trust the process. I have to like have faith, and I have to know that rejection is redirection, or like rejection is protection. Maybe you don't get something because there's something better. Just stuff like that. I know I have to trust. And like the reason I blindly obviously like turned my life and my will over to a higher power, I think that I try to make my faith as palatable as possible. I really do think it's just like a higher power, whether it's like the universe or whatever it is for you. But I think that I blindly kind of like turned it over. When I could just continue to practice that and practice that trust and practice that faith, things started working out. Like bad things still happen, but things always ended up working out. Knowing that I have that evidence, that I have that experience, I know that I can only plan so much. I can only be intentional. I can only live as the best version of myself. I can only treat people with kindness. I can only work on myself and put one foot in front of the other, take everything like one step at a time, roll with the punches, because like there is a path that I'm on and there is a plan, and I know it will all end up working out. So I just I don't know if my life looks like what I thought it would look like, because I never really think too much about what it's supposed to look like. I just think about like my why, my purpose, what is filling me up, what's like fulfilling in my life, and just kind of to keep going. So many times it's so easy to focus on all like the bad and like I hate this and I hate that, and at the end of the day it's like, what other choice do I have besides to keep going? Oh, someone did ask like, when did I become single? So I've been single since, what month is it? Oh my god, it's April. I guess January? I think January. And then like before people ask, I've been drinking for over like a year and a half now, and I just told you guys about it like a few weeks ago. Someone did say like how to get over a breakup that came out of nowhere. My breakup felt like it came out of nowhere. Really good advice my friend gave me was, she said there's no such thing as something coming out of nowhere. He may have not expressed things to you, but like it was building up, or like maybe you didn't want to see things that were happening. Things don't just like come out of nowhere like that. Maybe there's like a 1% of things that do, but like 99% of the time, like things don't just come out of nowhere. So like as much as it like hurts and like feels like that, it can feel like that for like a couple weeks, but then I think you have to like listen to your friends and like listen to the advice and listen to what other people saw, understand that like the things leading up to it, maybe what was going on in the other person's mind. It's obviously like feeling blindsided like sucks. It obviously just like feels like a harder breakup, and I get it, like 100%. Mine felt like it was out of nowhere. I think that a lot of people like want closure and all of this stuff stuff. And it's like, the older you get, the more you realize that like closure is not a thing. It sounds corny, but like you have to find it within yourself. You're not gonna get it from that other person. It sounds silly, but like if he wanted to, he would, is actually like really true. I think there's like little things where it's, you know, like some things like obviously take time and patience. You don't have to like force people to do things, but like there's certain levels of showing up for a person. If he wanted to, he would. I just feel like it's really obvious to me now as I've like gotten older and done more work on myself. I know so many of my friends and like their husbands and their fiancés, and like I see those relationships. It's true. Can't like romanticize your breakup. I mean, you will, but like then you gotta get out of it. Someone said, what are some of your goals for this year? First of all, the year is flying by. I'm like so stressed out about the next few months. And so I guess my main goal is to just show up for myself so that I can continue to show up for other people that I care about, including you guys. Being as present as possible, continuing to trust, like actually doing the best I can, not just like skidding by. And I think that I've been kind of skating by for a while, and it's just because I don't think I could fully show up because I was still figuring out so much of myself. And so I think now that I'm in such a better place, I want to show up as my highest self as often as possible so that I can have a better impact and create better content that connects with you guys, boosts your mood, and whatever it is. It's not always easy. I mean, as someone with like depression, anxiety, like it's really hard to show up all the time as your best self. And so I think that's why it's like a goal of mine, because I just want to be able to show up as my highest self as often as possible. Someone said, how connected do you feel to your followers? As much as social media gives me anxiety, and I'm like not trying to sound cheesy or like gas you up, I'm being 100% serious. I feel extremely connected to you guys through Instagram and the podcast and stuff, in a sense of like, not that I don't feel connected here. It's like, I feel like I don't get that many YouTube comments, and I get a lot of like Instagram DMs. A lot of them are kind of a mixture of like stuff from the YouTube and podcast. Obviously, like I open up in different ways on every single different platform. Feel like so connected to you guys in a sense of, I feel like we really understand each other and we kind of like speak the same language. We're really like engaged with each other. Feel really lucky that our community is kind of like on this like same page of being in our 20s and like kind of being hot messes, but like trying our best, working on ourselves, but not trying to be perfect. And so I feel like we're all kind of like in the same boat together. And I do feel really connected with you guys, because if I didn't, social media gives me so much anxiety at this point. I don't think I'd be able to keep doing it, like genuinely. Someone said, what's your goal when sharing things with your audience? And I think obviously I've said a lot, but I just like want to reiterate that I want to honestly be open and honest about everything, because I feel like I've gone through a lot of things and I feel like I continue to go through things. I feel like if I tell you guys about them so that you can handle things better and you don't have to go through as much, or you can go through it in a better mindset, feel less alone, or maybe giving you a little piece of advice, then I feel like everything I've gone through is worth it in a way. And I don't want to like victimize myself and say like my life is horrible. Like I know how blessed I am. I always say like, just because someone is drowning like at 100 feet and you're drowning at 50 feet doesn't mean that you're not both still drowning. I don't believe in comparing trauma. And I think like the human experience is like extremely hard no matter who you are. My goal is to be able to like share everything to just make your life a little bit easier, more fun, better, build this community of like-minded people. Someone said, do you mute people on Instagram? After my first breakup, I muted a lot of people on Instagram just because my anxiety was like so bad. This time I didn't mute anyone. I was fine. I actually like stayed in contact with like a lot of people just because that was the circumstance. I mute people when it's bad for my mental health, 100%, but like I don't just like mute people for fun. I'm way too lazy, honestly. A lot of people wrote in like advice stuff, and I just did a whole like advice segment solo episode on the podcast. Since this was more of like a personal Q&A, like life updates, I'll save those for another vlog. Yes, I don't know anything that's going on in my life, but yes, I'm going to vlog it all and share all of it with you. And someone said advice for dating apps, and let me tell you, I'm so good at making a Hinge profile. It's kind of like one of my hidden talents. So like if you guys want me to like help you with that, let me know. I'm also really good at like picking out first date outfits, and I have been dating and I'm pretty good at it. It's like fun. I will see you guys in a normal vlog. I'm also gonna do a currently loving within a vlog. I'm going to do advice within a vlog, and just classic get ready with me's, all that stuff. I was thinking about doing a nighttime routine. Just comment what you wanna see below, because everyone on Instagram was just like vlogs, but you guys are here, you're watching the vlog. So like if you could be a little more specific, I will read through the comments until my anxiety says no more. But until then, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, maybe got a little something out of it, a little something. Listen to the podcast, follow me on TikTok, follow me on Instagram. I will see you there. Love you guys so much.